Welcome. My name is Ross Young, and I'm going to teach you how to install and configure the AWS Command Line Interface. By this time, you should have been able to create an AWS account and log into the Management Console. Now, once you're in here, what you should do first is go to the Identity and Access Management console. Now, if you don't have a quick link right here, you can simply search for it by typing IAM. And what we're going to do is use this to create different types of groups and users. So let's create a group. We're going to create a group, and let's just assign a simple name, test admins. All right, click next step. And we're going to enable the policy for administrators to be attached to this group, so anyone inside the group would have admin level privileges. Let's create the group. Boom, we can see it just has been created, and we have 0 users, so let's create a user and assign it to that group. So we're going to go test admin user. Now in here, what you're going to see is there's 2 different access types. One is to provide access to the CLI, API, or SDK, or the console access, which is what we're in this pretty GUI. So by adding the user to the command line interface, we can assign certain permissions. We're going to do the new group that we just created called test admins. You can also apply certain tags if you wanted to put in contact information like phone number or address or email. You can put that in there as well. And we can review it. Everything looks fine. Let's create a user. Now, once you create a user, what you're going to see is an access key ID as well as a secret access key. Remember, these are secrets, so never share them with anyone, and I will be deleting these as soon as possible. Now, what we also need to do is actually install the AWS Command Line Interface into our shell or terminal. And the way we can do this is go to docs.aws.amazon.com, find the specific instructions unique to your operating system. I'm on Mac OS, so in here I'm going to use a tool called Python Installation Package Manager. We're going to use pip3 install AWS CLI. But if you are in Windows, you might have to use a different command. Okay, so we've installed all the dependencies. Let's go ahead and configure AWS. So we type in the command AWS configure. In here, it's going to ask us for the credentials that we were just given. So let's go ahead and put in the access key ID. And let's go ahead and add in the secret access key as well. And we're going to type in the region name and the default output format. So let's use JSON. Perfect. Now let's actually test to see if this works. And we can do a simple test by doing a S3 bucket list. And we see we have 0 buckets. So let's just create a bucket and see if this is actually working. So we can type in here S3 and let's create a bucket. So we can create a bucket. Now each bucket name is unique, so make sure you type in something unique. Next, you would click any of the appropriate permissions and visibility. We don't really care because we're just going to delete this right after. So we've created this bucket name called ESF ... and let's rerun our command to see if this is working correctly. Boom! Hey, we can see our bucket. So we have the ability to go in, create users, assign certain permissions, configure the command line to work for this user. And if you need to change these later on, maybe you change regions, you can look for certain types of files. Now, on AWS configuration for a Mac, it likes to install things into your local.aws folder, which is hidden. You can note that by the period in front of the AWS. And in here, there's a credentials file as well as a configuration file. So we can type in this config file and we can see some of the things we've already selected. And if you needed to change that, you could do that here as well. Perfect. Well, I hope you've had a great day today learning about how to install and configure AWS CLI. And please enjoy the class where you can learn a lot more cool things. Thank you again.